Well, I'll tell you what I believe. I believe you were right. He will be back. How about that? Yes. Thank you, God. Good morning, beloveds.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fantastic.
Yes,
I'm flying.
Yes, that's that song. We have to be fantastic. Don't we? Our talk today is going to be about growing spiritually, asking the right questions. But before we get into that, I want to talk to you a little bit about how your Thanksgiving was. I missed it. I wasn't here with you. How was it?
Good.
Yeah? Did we have a good potluck?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah?
Yep.
Good. So when we ask this, I can tell you about mine. I wanted you to go first.
Some of us gobble too much.
It was so good, it took 4 days to get it.
Look at that. Excellent. But I went to Colorado Springs, where my son lives. And some of you saw some pictures I had put up on Facebook, or my nephew had put up on Facebook. And some of you know, because I've been talking about this for a while, that my son and the whole family actually were estranged for quite some time. And in 2016, a couple years ago, we started coming back together, and we came back for a reason, for my grandson's graduation from high school. So it was the first time I'd seen my son in many years. First time his sister had seen him in many years. And so we did that, and now we're steadily working on the relationship, because that's what relationships are, right? You have to work on them. They don't just happen on their own. Relationship with people, with God, whatever. You have to work on them. So this was the first time that we've all come together for a holiday. So my daughter and her family came in from California. I flew in from Texas. My sister, who I've talked and told you many stories, I tell you many stories about my family because they're crazy, and I love them. But my oldest sister in 2014 died unexpectedly. And so her only child was my nephew. He came with his kids and his wife. And so you had all these young, they were my grandnieces and nephews. So you had all these young people coming together in Colorado for the first time. And my daughter-in-law, who I was talking with someone earlier about her, she's the reason that we're together, that the whole family's together. Because she said to my son, her husband, she said, "This is nonsense. You are calling your mother. You're calling her right now." She dialed the phone and gave him, you talk to her right now. I'm telling you. And that she's the reason that we're together. And she made such a wonderful space for us. And she had this thing that we called the cousin cave. And so yeah, it looked exactly like that. She had a 3-story place, and the basement she had made for the kids. And so all the kids were down there, and she set up. It was their studio, their theater. And so they had theater seats. They had a big widescreen TV, and they were watching all these Disney shows. She had all these games set up. It was just amazing. We hardly saw those kids unless they got hungry. They come through and said, "Hey, where's the food?" There was some food. They went back down. We went down and said, "Hey, time for a bath." Right? So they had a wonderful time. So here's what I learned. Here's what I remembered from watching this wonderful thing with my grandnieces and nephews. They had no doubt that everything would be taken care of. They didn't worry about a thing. They just went about being their loving selves. Food was provided. Clothing was provided. They never worried about anything. And we used to be that way. We knew that. We knew that we are supported by Spirit in everything we do. And yet somewhere along the way, we lost that knowing. We got into some experience that we had that was negative. Maybe we had a death. Maybe we lost a job. Maybe we had some health challenges. I don't know. But somewhere along the way, we forgot who we are and that we are completely and fully supported by Spirit. Matthew 6:25 says, "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink or about your body, what you will wear. Those kids didn't care. They would have never come out of that cave unless we went down to get them and told them, hey, change your clothes, take a bath, here's some food. They expected it. Look at the birds in the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in any barns, and yet God feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? And sometimes, I know, we can't help but worry. You all know my situation has changed. I was married for 37 years. 37 years. And we just decided one day it was finished. It was finished. And now I have a new life. And there's all kinds of questions. What happened? Where is this going? What's my role right now? You see, things happen because that's life, right? And we can't help but worry. But here's what I'm beginning to understand. If we keep looking at the past and the closed door, we will never see the one that was opened. We will never see the one that was opened. This is an open door for me. There's a closed door and there's always an open door because God provides for us. God fully supports us. So we got to stop looking at the closed door. So this is about a series that I'm talking about. It's from Wendy Craig Purcell. You guys know her? She's the Unity Minister. Unity of San Diego. It's called the Unity Center. And said, you know this one.
I went there.
Well, you remember there. She is amazing. Not only is she amazing, she is so generous. This book has been in my life for over 13 years. When my husband was a Unity Minister in Waco, she offered, which was over before 2005, she opened the doors of her church in San Diego and said, if you could get out here, we will spend a week together. She sent that message out to any Unity minister who wanted to come. We will spend a week together, and I will show you how I'm growing my church, and I will show you what's happening. She gave them so much information. I never saw this book. I never saw it. My girlfriend, who now knows I'm a minister here, and she watches us on Facebook Live, thank you, Terry, and she supports us, she sent this to me. She sent it to me. And she said, I think you like this. And she's absolutely right. I love this book. And so the premise of this book is, ask yourself this. It's about asking questions to get personal insight and understanding. But the trick is, what questions should you be asking? That's the question. We can ask those questions, but what questions are we supposed to be asking? Because there's some questions I call party fodder, cannon fodder. What are those questions? What are questions that don't mean anything? I'm asking you, what are the questions that don't mean anything? How's the weather? What's another one?
Why me?
That's actually a serious question. Why me? Because really, because you're asking God, why me? Why am I in this? That's a good question to ask yourself. Yeah, why not you?
What's up?
What's up? What's up? Exactly. You don't really care. How you doing? You don't care. How about them, whatever sports team you like? Cowboys in this room. But how about the boys? Right? This is party fodder. This is not a real question. What is a real question? What's a real question? What do you know for sure? What do you know for sure? This is a question that you can ask yourself. And this is not about what you know about facts. I know that, this room is 4,000 square feet, whatever it is. Not facts. What do you know for sure? This little bell ringer right here just keeps on. There you go. Finish. So what do you know for sure? Well, there's two things that we need to know to live a spiritual life. Two things. What do you know for sure and believe? What do you know for sure and believe? And how are you putting that into practice in your life? Those are the only two things we need to concern ourselves with. What do you know? And what are you doing with what you know? That's what we're here for. Okay? So, let me ask you this right now. What do we know as a New Thought congregation? What do we know for sure about God? What do you know? What do you know for sure about your relationship with God? What do you know?
I'm supported 100%.
100% supported. We know this.
I
I am an expression of God.
I am. God is I am. I am an expression of God. We are, each of us, individuals like drops in the ocean. We are the ocean. We are not the entirety. Yeah? So we are God. We are not the entirety. So we can command whatever we need. One power, one presence. One power, one presence in the universe and in our lives. Always available. But it's up to us to see it. It's God is always with us. God is always there. It's kind of like the ocean. The ocean doesn't happen because you started thinking about it, right? It's always there waiting. The ocean isn't wet because you stepped in and got wet. It was always wet. There was always water. It was always there. God is always there, always available. The point becomes, when do you become awakened to what is available to you? When do you become available? Now, it's the holiday season, and I'm out shopping, and I'm back to being single, single income. I can't spend the money I used to spend. Thank you, where are you, Phil, for the, yes, thank you, Phil and Venice, for the, what was it called, Financial Peace University. I took that class and found out how I could live on this little budget. I can live very well and actually have more money than I thought. So thank you. So that's also about tithing, which we'll talk about later. But anyway, so there's worries. I mean, you can't help but worry. I'm out there wondering, is my budget going to last? Is it going to hold? Did I put all these things that I need to spend my money on in my budget? This is holidays. It's not normally happening. And there's little things that happened when I went, which this is another story, but I want to tell the side story. When I went to Colorado, my sister sent all of this food. My sister lives in Little Elm in Frisco. And so she sent with me some turkey and dressing, some pies, and some Texas sausage, because you can't get that in Colorado, right? So I had it all wrapped up in a little case, along with my suitcase. So I had to pay $70 to put those things in the, right? Did they ride with me?
No.
Hello? Did they give me my $70 back? No. So these are some unexpected budgetary things I hadn't planned on. But that's okay, because what we know is if we are always fully supported, if God is with us, all I have to do is breathe. That's all you got to do, right? Just breathe. George, handle it. Handle it. I have more money in my account, saved right now. I started this new budget in December with money left over from last time, and I had unexpected expenses. How did that happen? I don't know. Not for me to know. All I know is breathe. George, fix it. George is my name for God. Fix it. That's all. That's how you get it. And so we're talking about growing spiritually, what we know for sure about God. God is indwelling, caring, and compassionate, and all things flow from it. There's only one source. And if we were in our class this morning, and our class this morning was about discover the power within, and Eric Butterworth is a bit verbose. He talks a bit, and it's great. And one of the things that he talked about prayer is that God is only love. People say, why is this war happening? Why is this bad thing happening? God is only love. God, you don't need to pray for anything else except for love to show up. Just to become awakened to who God is and what God is for you. That's all we have to do. The source of everything you need is right there. So you need more money in your account. Whatever you need help, you just realize the truth of your being. The truth is you are God. You are healthy. You're just waiting for it to show up in your physical body. It's already there. It's already done. This is what we need to understand. So God is indwelling and always there. Unity, I am, we are. Everything unfolds to the highest and best, even if it doesn't look like it. Because not all deeds, you're wondering, how is good going to come of this? How is good going to come of this? But what Martin Luther King told us is that the moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice and truth. It bends toward, you understand? It bends towards justice and truth. You can look at these little deeds and think, these are negatives. How is this going to happen? Well, yeah, I'm divorced. That's a negative. Oh, actually, I'm not divorced. I'm separated. That's a negative. But what's the positive? I'm always looking for the truth, the open door, the positive that's going to come from our lives and whatever's happening, because I know it will. Because why? Because God is and I am. Has to. It has to. You need to know that. You just need to know that. The next question, I want to ask you one more question. Let me ask you this. How big? How big is God? You understand that question? Right? Because as we're talking in our class, and I talk to people just on different things, and people always want to tell you the details. Well, we had this thing happen, and the road, I don't know, all the stories. It's okay. People have stories. They can tell those stories, but the stories don't matter. It matters to you because you're going through them, and I understand that. So I'm not saying they don't matter from that perspective. But from the perspective of God, the stories don't matter. Because God can handle whatever it is, and all you got to do is just say, handle it. I love this one. There was one thing that I used to see many years ago. I should look that up so I can put it up here. Fix it, Jesus! Right? That's how you get it. Fix it, George. Handle it. Someone said to me this morning that when we were talking in a class, I have to know what I want and then surrender. So easy. Simple. Not easy. Because there's a fight. Joe was talking about when she had to go pray about what happened to her husband. He goes, no, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. And we feel that way, but it doesn't have to. It took 30 minutes. It didn't take long at all because you put your mind on it. I'm going to let this go and let George handle it. Because there's nothing you can do except the one thing that you can do, which is the only thing you need to do, and that is let God have it. Let George have it. So how big is God? There's no need for miracles. No such thing. It's everyday God. A miracle is simply everyday God. So if we understood how big God was, what would that mean for you in your life? How would your life change? Just think about it. You don't have to answer necessarily, but think about it. What would your life be like if you knew everywhere you went, God was with you? Yeah, it would look pretty different. And here's the thing that we worry about, which we don't have to, and maybe you don't, but I used to. I don't now because I understand. But when I'm asking for something, I'm not taking away from someone else. Okay? You ask for something, you're not taking away from someone else, because why? Because the universe is abundant. The same thing God can give to me, can give to you, can give to everyone in this room. Because the universe is God. The source of everything we need is God. God isn't going to take away from you to give to me. God's going to bless you and me. You and me, not either or, and. Just remember that. And. So believe it. Tell God what you want. Decide. God is big enough. What can we accomplish in this space? I'm so excited about being here. We've got an annual meeting coming up next Sunday. We're going to talk about what we've done in the past year. We're going to talk about where we want to go in the coming year. I don't know about you. I am so excited. My boy's like, Jesus, give us a chance to breathe, Leah. I'm so excited. Right? Because this is such a great message. You know how you felt when you found this message? Do you know how many people will feel the same way when they find it? I can't hang on to this information. Can you? We can't. So I'm excited about how we're going to get it out there. I'm looking forward to talking with you about what we're going to do in the coming year. Because God is great. And as we understand that and expand our consciousness as a group, there's nothing we can't do. Not one thing. There's not one thing. So what do you want to do? Start putting your mind on it. Start putting your mind on it. I'm excited because God is going to prosper us. Already has. And will continue. I just want you to know that we are supported. Matthew 6:25 and 26 says, therefore I tell you, don't worry about your life. Let it go. Surrender. God takes care of the birds, the bees, the worms, everything out there. You think God's not going to take care of you? You are taken care of. You are the beloved. You are God's beloved children. We're going to get to that. Just tell God we'll get to that. So this week, ask yourselves this. What do you know for sure? Ask yourself this. As you're walking around and you're meeting other entities, other iterations of God. Because when you meet other people, that's what we're doing, right? Meeting other iterations of God. So ask yourself this. What do I know for sure? What I know for sure is, when I look at you, I look at God. I can do you no harm if I see nothing but love there. I can do you no harm. You can't do me any harm. You can't. Even though it looks to the contrary sometimes, the reality is you can't. You cannot. Okay? And how big is God? What I want you to do as you're going through the week, please, if you will, look back over your life at the things that have gone well. There's clues there to how you know what you know and how prayer is answered. Because prayer has been answered before for you. So just look back over your life and look and see what has happened. You already know how to do it. Sometimes you just forget, but you know. You know how to do it. In these next few weeks, we're going to be building some clarity by asking ourselves some questions and renewing our sense of self, of purpose, and our vision. Okay? You just have to ask the right questions. So ask ourselves, what's this about? When we are out and about and we're involved in something and maybe want to get into an altercation with somebody, we can ask ourselves many questions. What is this about? What is this really about? What is my role in this? What do you want from me, Spirit? Step in and handle this. You see, these are all the things we get to do right in the moment, to take a breath and call for help. Ask those questions. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind when you ask yourself these questions. And when you do, we will obtain unshakable joy. Unshakable joy. You, me, Meryl, we'll just be dancing around. Right?
Amen.
Yes. Hallelujah. Woo. I want you to know that. Namaste.